Good now, Revolutionaries, and welcome to Rise Up After Dark. Oh, yes, it's October 22nd, a chilly Wednesday night here in Memphis. I finally have a shirt on again, and this is your place for DYOR, BYOB, altcoin reviews. If you've got questions, we're going to answer them. You're in the hot seat with me and Will Watson, and we're here to help you. Will, how are you tonight, man?
I'm good, dude. It's, again, one of those days where it's just like I blink and the day is over, and I'm like, I had so much to do. I still used every waking moment except for about an hour and a half. Gave myself about an hour and a half separated of leisure time, and it's still just like, man, wasn't enough.
Man, I am glad to hear you did. I had one of those days too. I did not get much of a respite, and I'm underslept, man. My allergies are feeling pretty good though, so I'm alive. I'm here, and Alex tonight is off. He is taking a well-deserved travel break, but since he missed the show, I'm going to start him off with a little. And I'm also going to give Christina a couple of points because she's with Alex and she's going to keep him out of trouble. And I think she's great. So 5 points for Christina. And have a good time out of town. If you're just hearing that for the first time or you're new here, this is how it works. When you hear this sound, you get a point. Somebody you're speaking about gets a point. When you hear this sound, it means somebody has lost a point. At the end of the night, we give away some canned applause. We have some rah-rahs and usually some good laughs. If you can beat racism, you can play and maybe even win the game. You remember when that happened?
You can beat racism?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's racism. Right. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot that racism got on the board one time, or like.
And out of context.
Out of context, that sounds really weird. But in the moment, let me tell you, it was good. It was positive. It was not negative, and in fact was not racist.
No racism to bulls, bears, or anyone else in between. And tonight we've got a great show. Andrew from Awaken has asked us if he could reschedule. He's not feeling very well himself. So he's coming back for all your tax questions in about 2 weeks' time, November 5th. Will and I are going to do as many questions as we can. Will, I'm handing out points. I hope you've got your bell at the ready. And we can just rock and roll and do some rapid fire questions. So if you've got a crypto question, if there's something you want to know, then do your best to put it in 150 characters, leave it in the comments. And if you can't, the place to go is community.rumshq.com. That's the place the show lives 24/7. Great place to connect with us and other crypto users. We would love to see you there. So, Will, the very first question on the docket tonight comes from Sa-Ku or Sa-Su. Apologies on the name. I hope you're well. They said, got liquidated. Any advice?
Do not revenge trade. First advice I have for you. Revenge trading is you lost, right? However you lost. In this case, you got liquidated. So this person, for those of you who don't know what liquidation means, it means that they went and they borrowed money from some exchange, right? And they then bet incorrectly enough to the point where the exchange went, hey, we need that money back and also your seed money, right? That is liquidation explained as simply as possible, right? And that's the risk that you take. Just because you borrowed money doesn't mean that there isn't risk. The risk there is that the exchange then goes and takes your money if you are wrong enough. It's the simplest way I can describe it without going into extra layers. So revenge trading is feeling like because you lost, you have to immediately dive into the market and win that money back. Except typically that results in you putting money into the market very emotionally, not with a strategy. If you had rules that you followed that made you a profitable trader, you take those rules and throw them out because you're just emotionally putting your money into the market, putting yourself into a weak position and losing again. So that is revenge trading. So when you have a loss, and if this liquidation was very large for you, definitely just kind of step back for a second, process the loss, go and study the tape, if you will, and figure out, cool, what did I miss? What didn't I see? Is there a gap in my knowledge? Did I not know something about the project? Did I not know something about the macroeconomic situation? Did I miss something on the charts? Once you answer all those questions, then start to say, okay, now let's start looking again for an opportunity to dive into the market. If you got liquidated of your entire position, that's tough, right? Because now you're in a spot where you don't have any free capital to trade with. So now you need to build up your free capital again. And, you do what you got to do. You work the job you have, you hustle, but you have to build up that capital again. And while you're doing that, though, don't just put your head in the sand and go, ho hum, I lost. Like, it sucks, right? But take the time again to study and learn, so that doesn't happen to you again. And that when you re-enter the market, you do it with strength.
Beautifully put. And I would simply add that this is a temporary setback, but if you're feeling desperate, if you're feeling hopeless, then you're not alone. And we want to make sure you get the help that you need, because this can be really devastating for a lot of people. I want to recommend you jump in the community. And I also wanted to highlight this from our friend, partner of the show, the White Whale, who got liquidated big time in the crypto crash that happened. And it can sound trite, but it's true that, if you are struggling, you're not alone. And he put a great tweet out to findahelpline.com. There are many other resources, and you got friends here. So stay tough out there. You can make it, and leave us a comment and let us know how you're doing. Will, what in the heck were you cheesing at? I was talking about finding a helpline, and you had this little cheese on your face.
I'm sorry. That was a bad time to smile and cheese, but we have funny people in the community.
We do.
And there were a couple things. There was one thing that said, as Bill Murray said, don't trade angry. I bet incorrectly a lot, but never use freaking leverage. But what got me was from Raging Cajun, who said, I blame Will for his late Ondo deep dive.
Oh,
and I don't know if that was in relation to the market being down or for this poor person being liquidated. But either way, it did make me laugh.
Beautiful.
And then there's also from Robot Stecklish, I angry traded in 2022. The skill to turn 300K into 5K is strong with me. A lot came through right there, and I was like, this is a bad time for me to be smiling.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious though. Sorry about your I heard it said, if you want to turn $1 million, or if you want to make $100,000, if you want to make $100,000 in crypto, gosh, Evan, start with $1 million.
Yeah,
So the next question we've got is a request to take a look at Link. So Will, could I trust you to do the honor to pull it up on the chart and give us a looky-loo? And do you need a second? Because I'll give you a quick resource.
Give me a second. Give people a quick overview on Link and why people talk about it, and I'll pull this up.
Absolutely, I would be happy to. Link is a layer 1 network. It's an Oracle solution. This just means they help in a digital world bring information that is physical into a computer accessible form and disseminate it in a verifiable way. It's reliable because you don't have to trust it. It just functions, and if it stops functioning, you fix it. They verify things like weather data, price data. In the crash recently, oracles like Link that operated on smart contracts actually worked really, really well, giving good price information to markets, which is important because that's the kind of thing that would ease the pressure for somebody like Binance or Coinbase or whoever to just liquidate you. So Link is in the business of providing that service, and they have more meaningful partnerships, building infrastructure, providing infrastructure for most crypto than pretty much anybody for my dollar. If you're into utility, Link is, a company, Chainlink is a company doing it. They've got the relationships and they got the work. So that's the token, and it's used mostly for governance of the ecosystem. It's not the kind of token that you need to buy a lot of to use. It's efficient. And so all these companies using it are not necessarily going to create this surge in price, but it's got a lot of mind share. What's his name? The founder and CEO is in the White House. So it's here to stay. Please continue. Well, what are we looking at, man?
And what I'd say is we're looking at Chainlink on the daily time frame. But before I do go over it, let me just quickly say that if you are building a portfolio and you're like, hey, I want to invest in things in the long term, I want to build a long-term crypto portfolio. You buy your Bitcoin, you buy your Ethereum. I would say probably throw Solana into that mix. And then probably a little bit of Chainlink. Make most of your portfolio Bitcoin, followed by Ethereum, followed by Chainlink or Solana, whichever one you like more, is my personal opinion. Right now, those are the only 4 cryptos that you can say are probably going to be here long term, in my personal opinion. And you could look at it like, hey, I'm investing in Bitcoin, the name brand, and then the Ethereum, Solana, and the Chainlink are I'm investing in the infrastructure of this crypto landscape and ecosystem, and the infrastructure of the stablecoin ecosystem, and the infrastructure of this whole tokenization of real world assets thing, like trends that are real in the space. So now let's take a look at the chart. So this is a chain link on the daily time frame going all the way as far back as January 2023. And if I just clean up the chart a little bit here and make this a little simpler, we had our high here in August, which was a high of $27.83, if you want to round up. And if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that Chainlink is in this really, really, really long bull flag. This channel right here, with this being, the pole, it's a really, really long bull flag. Typically, these patterns break to the upside. But, we'll see. Not everything has to break to the upside here. So if we zoom in closely on Chainlink, we can see that we are currently still in a bearish formation. We technically have a higher low from the low that we made on October 17th at $15.75, but we are currently below the 200-day simple moving average, this purple line. It's a very important, very structurally important line of support and resistance. If we can get above this, it's sitting at $17.63. We could actually start to see something pretty exciting forming on Chainlink's chart, which would be a pattern called a rounding bottom. And we don't have this yet, right? We want to see some kind of confirmation here. We have this, relative lower low here on October 11th. We have the lowest low we made on October 17th. And now we're trying to set in our first higher low, but we don't have confirmation yet. Confirmation for me would be getting over that 200 simple moving average and then kind of working our way higher. And this rounding over is a sign that, hey, bearish momentum started to slow down because the lower low that we made was barely a lower low. And then we have a higher low. We get above some key exponential moving averages, and then we could actually see some positive things happen for Chainlink. If we pull up our indicators, we can see that we don't have an oversold reading on the relative strength index. We kind of wish we could see that right now. We don't have an oversold reading on our stochastic RSI. We wish we could see that also. We see that momentum on our Moxie indicator is bearish right now. We'd love to see a long signal, but typically long signals don't happen. One TA patterns via candles are showing bottom indicators. So now let's go to another time frame and see what else we can see. So we always like to go to a longer time frame after the daily, because the longer time frames are more impactful. So we go to the weekly chart, and we get a very clear image as to what's happening here. We are oversold on our weekly chart stochastic RSI, but we are below the 55-week exponential moving average, sitting at, hey, $17.69. So this middle $17 range is very important based on what we're seeing on the daily time frame and the weekly time frame. If we can get to Sunday, and Sunday's weekly candle ends above $17.69, while the stochastic RSI is oversold, that would be a potential bottom indicator on the weekly chart. And at the same time on the daily time frame, that would confirm that rounding over pattern, right? So that's what we're waiting for. Everything in crypto right now from a TA standpoint is, and Evan, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, is really just kind of like we're looking to Sunday. We're looking to see what this weekly candle close is going to be. Because for Bitcoin, for Chainlink, for so many cryptocurrencies right now, their charts look very similar. And they're all right at and just below really important areas of resistance. And if that weekly chart closes just below it, we probably have a 15 to 20% fall in altcoins additionally to expect. If we can get to Sunday and that weekly candle closes right above it, we're oversold on weekly indicators, and we potentially have the door open for this being a bottom, and we're going to start to recover. So this weekly end is very important.
Yeah, and I would just echo what you said, Will, that if somebody is investing in crypto, that the list of assets that I would consider investable is very, very small. And mostly, I really think like Bitcoin if it's not on your list, you need to have a serious talk with yourself, I think. And then, if you buy Bitcoin and ETH, honestly, you're going to do better than pretty much 99% of all people. But I think if you're looking for diversity and exposure, that Link is a natural, worth your consideration. And I would look to buy when it's low, relatively locally, because it will have peaks and valleys. And I think it probably will continue to increase in value over time if they continue to be so dominant.
Yeah.
And so I think it's investable.
Yeah, and I'll say right now, if Chainlink ends this week below $17.68, the target of that bearish breakout is basically $14 on the dot, which is a 19% fall. That would be the target. But hey, we could just get a tweet from the president, and everything would be fine. The market turns around. So hopefully we get that bullish tweet. And like a tweet could possibly be around, we had a positive conversation with President Xi, and it's a delay on this 100% increase on tariffs, so we can talk more, and it looks like a deal is going to come. Or, hey, the government turned back on, the SEC can approve all of these ETF products that are just right. They're at the door, just like waiting to be let into the club, basically. We just had a Solana ETF filed by 21 shares with its final documentation being added. So it's pretty much ready to go once the SEC turns on, because while the government has been shut down, they can't give the approval for any new ETF products unless it was previously given before the government shut down. So the government has to turn back on for all these ETF products to come out the gate hot. So once the government turns on, honestly, I would say like within a week of the SEC being open again, you probably see a slew of ETF products come out.
Yeah, I think that's a easy thing to think, is like one company gets approved, another company doesn't, but there were several factors. And Grayscale already has a really successful record of crypto ETFs too, is the other thing. Like they probably have experience with filing. A lot of the applicants did. Fairness means they're treated by the same rules, but doesn't always mean the same speed or outcome. We had another good question here. This is from Tom, our friend, the Bitcoin appraiser. And he wanted to know if we could talk a little about the difference between blockchains and DAGs. And this is a buzzword that we're going to have to define, and I'm going to try and keep it technical and light. DAG is directed acrylic graph. It is a type of ledger, but it's built on a different technology than a blockchain. A blockchain is a distributed ledger. All the members of the network have a copy. And transactions are grouped into pages called blocks, and each block points or links to the previous block in a linear chain. That's why we call it a blockchain. The blocks are added one at a time. And because they're processed sequentially, it can have throughput that's lower. There are many fast blockchains, but lower throughput as a ledger. And latency, like the amount of time it takes for all the members of the network to say yep, we agree on this, let's print it. It can be high. It can be inconvenient, and there are higher fees when the traffic is heavy, like trying to get a bunch of cars through one lane on a highway. So in a DAG-based ledger, directed acrylic graph, the structure allows multiple transactions, multiple blocks to be processed in parallel, like opening a new lane on a highway, rather than just one after another. So DAGs promise higher throughput, many transactions at once, lower latency, lower fees, but they have complexity. You got to figure out who was first in order. How do you determine what the true history is? And so they're I would say less mature. There's more variability when compared to blockchain. And in terms of, Tom asked about SUI, how they use both. This is new to me, but I pulled up a little resource from just what is SUI, a Google search, and this is a Ledger article, like the wallet company. They say that their mempool, the place that transactions go when they're waiting to be processed, is DAG based. So they get signed off on in a non-linear way. And here's a quote from the SUI blog that says they utilize a DAG for transaction propagation, gathering them together, and consensus. Those two parts I said were slow. And then in a separate process, they order the transactions into checkpoints like blocks. And then I think they use a chain to keep the record. I'm not sure. That's beyond my experience, but hopefully that's a good introduction to DAGs. And the takeaway I would say is there are many different ways to build in this new medium, blockchain, Web3, DAGs, smart contracts. and they're all just developing, like a Lego set first edition. They're just starting to release the expansion packs. So it's slow, it's fast, but it's slow and it's vast. Goes far. Will, do you have anything to add?
I don't. Honestly, my skills around DAGs are rusty. Like the knowledge, I don't know where the latest DAG ecosystems are right now. It's been a while. Ever since the Japanese carry trade over a year ago, I really just started really focusing my education on macroeconomics. And it's been nice recently doing some altcoin deep dive reviews again, because I'm like getting back to being on chain more. It's like, oh, this is nice. Like this is what I used to do all the time. This is good.
Come be with us on chain.
Yes.
I have another question on deck, but since you had the comments at hand, I wanted to defer to you. Would you like me to field one, or you got one up?
So there were a number of questions I was trying to address. One is a comment from B. Do I need a cold wallet or can I wait? B, I responded to you in the comments, so let me know if you're a long-term investor. My qualification question was, well, are you a long-term investor? Are you a short-term trader? And then another question too is, like, how important is it to you to being able to have control over your money? Because some people, and I would say most people, don't really care to have control over their money. And what I mean by that is you could leave the country and you have all of your net worth with you. You can send your money to wherever you want to send it to, no matter who you want to send it to, as quickly as you want to, no matter any rules or regulations in the world. You want to be safe from having the government or the bank freeze your accounts. But if you have concerns around those things, having control over your money is really, really, really important to you. But for people who go, I just want exposure to price go up, price go down, then getting a hardware wallet isn't necessarily for you if you're a short-term investor. If you're a long-term investor, I would say a hardware wallet, cold storage is very important to you. If you want control over your money, hardware wallet and cold storage is very important to you. Because you want to make sure that that long-term investment is safe. But if you're a short-term trader making quick trades in and out, I would say it's not really all that important, and it's kind of a pain to move things from a hardware wallet to an exchange and then do it if you're just holding something for like a week or two, in which case I would say it doesn't make much sense. I will also say that there are hardware wallets that if you are interested in using as like a form of payment, the Arculus card is pretty neato. And you can use that as like a form of payment, like a credit card, which is pretty cool. So it's a little bit more of a gray zone. The answer I gave you, there are some areas where things kind of fit in between. So if you are interested in using crypto for payments, like an Arculus hardware wallet is definitely going to be something you're interested in, particularly if you want control over your money, because typically you like to spend that money too. So being able to have your money in a safe space that you can also use to pay is also pretty dope.
And I would add about, if you're somebody who just wants to invest and you're not comfortable with the idea of self-custody, using a cold storage wallet, it concerns you or intimidates you, that's okay. Take it slow. It may not be for you. And honestly, I would say if you're that kind of investor, you probably should not be trading a bunch of different crypto tokens that are like hard to get off exchanges. You shouldn't worry too much about acquiring the next hot altcoin, meme coin, whatever. You should play close to home, because it's more likely that you're going to have to use that kind of stuff, and that you're going to make a mistake if you don't feel confident using it. No matter how secure the wallet is, it's not going to be a good one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
And then also got a question: is the Arculus wallet like the Coinbase One wallet? No, the card, I should say. The Coinbase One card is a credit card offered by a collaboration between Coinbase and American Express, where it's just like any other credit card. If you rack up a bill on it, you got like a 24% interest rate on it. But if you use your credit card like a debit card, which all of you should, it's very fiscally irresponsible to use your credit card like it's pretend money, because it's not. It's money that you owe.
Yeah.
Treat it like a debit card. But you'll make 4%, up to 4%. Most people will earn 2%, up to 4%, depending on how much money you have on Coinbase. And if you are a Coinbase One member, then you'll earn Bitcoin as you just do transactions. Arculus is a hardware wallet that looks like a credit card, but you can use it to do payments. It is more like a debit card that then connects you to your on-chain, very secure hardware wallet.
Yeah, beautifully said. And we got a good follow-up question about the best way to be an investor. Should you have an LLC? Should you start a trust? And those are like options, but there's no one answer. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. It's a one-size-fits-you thing. So you could be just a solo investor with no filings, no separate tax returns, no frills. You could be a limited liability company and get some more like protection if you're doing stuff, but still taxable. And trusts, I just don't know much about them. I probably need to get one, but they can help you avoid taxes, an American pastime, and maybe a pastime where you live too. And if you want to get more, I would say, insight on that, that's a good question to jump in the community about, because there are probably people who have done that or considered it. And if not, we'd like to learn from your experience.
Yep. A few other things in the comments section that were running hot. One is the stimulus check a rumor? Yes. Yes, it is a rumor. Yeah, there's been some chatter on Twitter, and it's kind of percolated around that Trump might take tariff revenue and provide it as a stimulus check to people. That is just a rumor. As of right now, maybe it'll change at some point. We'll see. It would be interesting to tax the companies and then give the money to the people. That's interesting.
It's an idea.
We're going to tax the companies who are going to charge you more. We're going to give you that money. And anyway, it's just a very roundabout thing. But I do understand the marketing of it. It's very good marketing.
It's very good marketing. And I hear Japan is considering a stimulus.
Oh, really?
That's what I've heard. I have not verified it. So, take it only as one guy's opinion on the air live. I will not die on this hill. I have a really good question.
Fact check yourself,
from
brother.
Friend of the show, Young Scrimmage, over on X. Scrim says, love the stream. How you doing, brother? It's really good to see you. And asks, wrong one. Asked about Bitcoin and knots. We'll talk about that in a second. Have we looked into AMP is the question I saw. The collateral token for the Flexa Network.
First time I've heard it.
I think we've talked about it on a show before. And what's interesting about this token is it's not, as I understand it, trying to be money. It's trying to be infrastructure. Its job is to make crypto payments fast, reliable as credit cards. And you spend crypto on the Flexa network. The merchant, they want to know right now that you're good, but blockchains, like we just talked about, they take time. So instead of waiting, Flexa locks AMP tokens as collateral to guarantee the payment. If the transaction fails on chain, then the AMP is liquidated, covers the shortfall, the magic of smart contracts. And I don't have a take except that it's a great idea. I think it's under-realized probably as an ecosystem because we don't hear about it much. I don't know if people use it. I don't know anything about the tokenomics. I don't know what the dynamics in the ecosystem are. So Scrim, if you're plugged into it, I would love to hear about it. And if you're curious about more of our takes on Bitcoin, knots versus core, I made a video about it on TikTok a couple of weeks ago. And we also hosted Erica Perkin on the morning show last week. Would have been 380 something, 88, 87, I believe on Tuesday. She is doing educational content around how to operate your own node, how to use Bitcoin, and is more, we had a more informed conversation about it. And Dennis Porter on After Dark, 6 or 10 episodes ago, he read us into the debate. I think it's an important debate that the TLDR is that it's less about any one issue with Bitcoin and more about how well does the Bitcoin network address urgent issues. It's slow to change. And it's important for the network with quantum resistance looming and other real threats to its existence and value, which affects all of us, for us to be able to participate in decision making. It is kind of the biggest true test of like decentralized crypto governance happening right now. I think it's a very important debate. And we give more takes on it in those episodes. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And Will, if you have thoughts, let me hear them. But Jeff says in the comments, Erica has good content. She sure does. That's Perk Insights on TikTok. Erica Perkin. She's a lawyer. She's approachable, friendly, and expert. Like humble, but she has some expert experience and really is generous with her knowledge. So give her a follow. Mm-hmm. Do you have a thought on it, Will?
I don't, because I'm a little detached from both sides of the argument. other than hearing it on the show. So I don't have many thoughts to add about that Bitcoin debate. I just don't right now.
No, that's okay. I don't mind. I wanted to give you the chance. And I will say, I do think
bullshit.
I think Knots versus Core has a lot of potential as a band name.
Knots, oh my God.
Knots versus Core. Like, wouldn't that be, you would expect them to rock, right?
Yeah. I think I'm seeing, I don't know if it's punk or if it's like a little bit, no, it's not heavy metal. It's not heavy metal. I'm just trying to figure out what genre they're in.
I don't know. I see them in black ripped pants and like somebody's got a baseball bat.
And those pants are too tight.
Too tight, man. Too tight. That's how they rip. Knots versus Core.
There's another question here that goes back to our storage by user 5343541344494 over on TikTok. Thank you for the comment. Ding to you for having an amazing name. Yep. But the question is, can you guys talk about institutional custody in comparison to cold wallets in particular? And I think this, I'm going to answer this, I think, by hitting on a couple of different things, because a lot of people always ask, oh, why do I buy Bitcoin and put on a hardware wallet when I could go to Bitcoin and get the ETF? Or like, why would I get the Bitcoin ETF when I can just get Bitcoin on my hardware wallet? And I think it's a similar kind of question. And then there's also institutional custody, which is kind of like something that businesses do, right? It's a service that Coinbase provides for BlackRock. So I'm going to address two of those things. First of all, there are advantages to purchasing the Bitcoin ETF or the Ethereum ETF or now the Solana ETF and all the other ETF products we'll have. From a tax standpoint, because you can get it like included into your IRA with tax benefits. You can also not have as much responsibility, because if you're taking Bitcoin and you're sending it to your hardware wallet, you still need to make sure you send it to the right address. If you send it to the wrong address, hey, that Bitcoin's gone, right? If you don't feel like you are a responsible enough person to handle that, or if you are looking to buy Bitcoin and maybe pass that on as inheritance, and you don't trust the people who are going to inherit that Bitcoin to be responsible, maybe buying Bitcoin spot and putting it on a hardware wallet isn't for you. Because what you could do is you could go and buy the spot ETF through BlackRock. And then, you don't have to worry about sending wrong transactions. You just have this share that tells BlackRock that you own a certain amount of Bitcoin that they then acquire and hold on Coinbase, who is an institutional custodian, meaning that they hold, in this case, Bitcoin on behalf of BlackRock clientele. Okay. And so that's kind of what that is. So if you are really, really, really wanting to make sure that your Bitcoin goes to your children and your grandchildren and stuff like that, you might really seriously want to look at a spot ETF. If you want direct control and responsibility over your own monetary and fiscal health and portfolio, buying spot and putting on a hardware wallet is for you. Oh, man.
Did you see it?
Did do that. I don't know if people saw it on TikTok, but he just over poured and the lid came off on his water bottle like a nerd.
I just have to tell you, this is the absolute worst drinking vessel I have ever owned, and I continue to use it. It's my own fault because the top falls off all the time, and it's not its fault. It's not the lid that came with it. I'm misusing it. Will, would you just do me a quick favor and stall while I get a towel?
Yeah, I can stall. Bearded, I should make a video on that. There's more people asking questions about ETFs versus buying spot. What is Pith and how does it work? Is it similar to Link? It's similar to Link, except that it doesn't do as many things as Link. And it's been a while since I brushed myself up on Pith, but Pith and Chainlink are competitors. They are both oracles. They bridge data from, in the case of Chainlink, traditional businesses and the blockchain itself. Pith excels at being the bridge for one specific thing, and it's price feeds. So Pith is a very, 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 very popular, the most popular oracle to choose to make sure that you are getting the most up-to-date price feeds on crypto, on-chain to off-chain and back and forth. Chainlink is the primary gorilla for any and all other data and bridging that between on-chain and off-chain ecosystems. So that's it. Evan, what is going on over there, Matt?
There's so much water.
I feel like you just keep moving water around. God. I mean, so that's Pith, right? Pith's chart doesn't look nearly as good as Chainlink's, and I'll show you that in just a second here. Pith's chart looks like this, and this is on the weekly time frame. Let me make sure the people on TikTok can see, right? It doesn't really have a long enough history to really kind of judge on the weekly time frame, honestly. But we're well below the 12, the 21, the 55, the 200 exponential moving averages. We're below the 200 simple moving average. We have short signals flashing. We're not oversold on any time frame. And we do have one good sign, which is that we are finding a bottom in this general range. So if Pith could turn things around, this would be the place for it to turn around. Otherwise, the next major area to catch it would be right in here, which is between 10 cents and 8 cents. If you're interested in investing in Pith, I would say, oh, wait a second. I just realized I wasn't sharing. You know what? I have been doing a bad problem with that. I just realized I wasn't sharing it on the big screen. So again, let me just show people. I messed that up on Monday too. So
I get you on the little screen, man. I'm back.
No, I already showed the people on the little screen. Anyway, Pith between 10 cents and 8 cents, where this consolidation zone is what Pith is looking to fall into with these short signals here and momentum being bearish. However, if it turns this into support, you can see an easy move up from 10 cents up to 13 cents, a 30% move, which would be great. But I would say if you're interested in investing in Pith, you really love the Solana ecosystem, like Pith over Chainlink. You really love the Solana ecosystem over anything else because Pith is on Solana. And you want to choose Pith over Chainlink, or you're building a portfolio of oracles and the two leaders in the space are Chainlink and Pith. Just understand that Pith really, really, really just focuses on pricing data and pricing fees, whereas Chainlink focuses on the entire infrastructure of all of crypto, right? So it's a little bit more expansive.
Which is, to be fair, a huge market if you can get it.
Dude, Vonda goes, his left leg is soaked.
It's a miracle I didn't electrocute myself, that I didn't, totally short circuit this. I mean, it was so much water. I had 4 small towels in my room and I still had to go get a big bath towel. I mean, it was just
stall.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't believe it. I wanted to add a quick thought to the institutional thing, which is that if you are somebody who wants to access institutional custody as a consumer, your crypto in their vault, there are a couple solutions you can use that are also they custody assets for institutions. Fireblock is one. Fireblocks, I always get that wrong. Anchorage Digital, BitGo, and like Will mentioned, Coinbase has a Coinbase custody program that you can participate into. But there's some hoops to jump through. So there we go. I'm awesome.
So here's something, I'm replying to it right now on TikTok. I always get so confused by this. So the comment here was, not sure if y'all saw Kevin O'Leary's video on ETH's transaction costs during Black Friday concerning. So I did not, but I'm going to address this because a lot of the times I'll see people be like, I hate Ethereum. How could you use it? It's so expensive. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's expensive. First of all, ETH fees are low. Evan, I know you can go to a site and look it up right now, but they're like $1.
Yeah, right now they're single digits. Tops.
And also, you can use a layer 2 and you're paying pennies. Like, I don't understand when people are like, ETH's so expensive. And I'm just like, you can pay pennies.
I think so too. I think
transaction fee anywhere on Ethereum. Just don't use mainnet. Use Optimism or Arbitrum or Polygon or Base. And also, most people are just using those layer 2s natively now, and they don't even realize it.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of those people are complaining that, or at least what I'm seeing, I didn't see Kevin O'Leary either, is that on Black Friday, the transactions in some places got up to the hundreds of dollars, and a lot of them were failing. And that wasn't, ETH functioned as it was supposed to, but it wasn't an ideal experience for people. It reminds me of what you said about privacy, that people don't care about privacy. But I think people, when it comes to privacy, when it comes to speed of your blockchain, I think people expect it to work. They take it for granted. And when it doesn't work, they get upset and inconvenienced by it. That's when they start to care about it, So I'm with Will though. There are so many ways to get around it. It'd suck if you had a trade you were trying to move and it was on the Ethereum network and you had to use that and you had to pay $100 or $500 or something and you couldn't get out of it and you lost money. That sucks.
Yeah,
but,
I do understand that. And another question came here. Hey, which is it based on the platform? Like which one being L2s would be pennies? Any L2, any layer 2 right now, you're paying pennies.
Pennies tops.
Pennies tops, fractions of pennies. Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, Abstract. I don't know what other layer 2s am I forgetting. Immutable X.
Everyone. There are hundreds of layer 2s now. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's crazy.
For layer 2s.
Another thing too, and now this is a little bit more of a valid argument that I'm going to bring up, but it's something that I'm just like, you're not asking the next follow-up questions, which is fine. It's a very normal human thing to do. We only have so much time as we go through social media and yada, 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 and go through our days. But it's important to ask the follow-up questions because otherwise you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, right? And I do this too. I'm not perfect, but it's comments on like the Solana ETF. That news came out today of the filing by 21 shares and how it's basically ready to go. And on crypto Twitter, it was just like Solana hate in the comment section. And I was like, oh, this is odd. And it was hate about like people posting about how the inflation of Solana is at like 14% or not, which I did not verify, but Solana's inflation is certainly higher than Ethereum's and certainly higher than Bitcoin's. However, the thing is inflation is bad towards an asset if you're simply looking at it as an investment, right? However, if the natural demand for the token is larger than inflation, then it's pretty much a wash, right? No other blockchain is being used by more people right now than Solana on chain. And so you can have high inflation. There is higher inflation on Solana than not. Evan, if you can just quickly look up what the annual inflation rate is, if it's 14%.
Currently on Solana, 4 to 5% annually, and this is per Solana Compass. This is like a look at tokenomics.
I was about to say, I saw the 14%, and I was like, that seems like bullshit. It was being spread all over crypto.
That's the like initial inflation rate. There's like and I don't understand this, but it involves a taper. There's like it's 8% and they somehow taper it to, whatever. And then its final inflation is 1.5%. They burn like an actually significant amount of tokens and a lot of them get locked, get staked. It's like the website I'm at, I'll put it in the Circle community, is solanacompass.com. Talks about the tokenomics, the stake supply, lock supply, all this stuff. Will's right.
Yeah.
It's not a concern. It could be concerning, but it's not.
But also with inflation not being 14%, so I don't know where people, you said it was like the initial year supply. So people still think that Solana is being inflated by 14% a year. And they say crypto Twitter is the smart place. Here we are educating folks on TikTok. Anyway, and also Twitter as well. Hey, folks, we love you too. Or X. But it's just, hey, I'm angry about a few things today. That was one. The other thing too is people still thinking that, I don't know why this industry thinks that Twitter is like the grand all be all social media platform where people want to learn, as if there aren't people who are also interested in cryptocurrency and who have money, which would be very good customers for them on any other social media platform, because they're like, well, those people, they don't really know what they're talking about. Like, we don't have any misinformation or scams over here. And I'm like, buddy, what are you talking about? Alex isn't here to vent on this, so I have to fill the place and vent for him. The shit is stupid.
Alex is somewhere very proud. His ears are burning and he just feels a little twinge of like proud of that guy in his heart, his angry little heart.
Alex would have dinged me. Alex would have dinged me.
You're right, he would have. You're right, he would have. We have a question here from our friend Scrim again that asked, how do we feel about the current status of the Market Structure and Clarity Act? And Will, I got to be honest, I don't know what the current state of the bill is. And if you don't either, that's fine.
We'd have to talk to Alex, but also the government's been shut down, so I'm not quite sure where things ended.
That's what I'm saying is I'm not paying too much attention to it. What I do know is that in the big picture, the zoom out, we have way more clarity, better by at least, the standard of people understand and want to take action on crypto right now than we've ever had. It's really here. I want to share one quick resource. This is just today published, The State of Crypto by A16Z. Every year they do this report that you can download for free that talks about all the different trends they've observed. And I was listening to a podcast that they do about it because they do a podcast to review the important data. And they talk about stablecoin adoption. Will, since Alex isn't here, I'm going to make you guess how many per last year, how much volume do you think stablecoins have done?
Since last year, how much?
Like 24 aggregate. How many transactions in stablecoins were there? Stablecoin volume for the year.
Wait, are you asking me how many transactions or how much volume? Because this is different.
Dollars.
I'm gonna go with 1.3 trillion.
Higher.
What? I'm gonna go then with 3 trillion.
No, it's 50. I can't remember, $4 or $7 trillion a year now. We're up to. It's wild. So go stablecoins go. They have a lot of other metrics. They talk about privacy. They talk about real world assets. I'm sorry, Will, I rugged you on the screen share. My apologies.
Oh, it's fine.
And it's totally free for you. This is A16Z. They're the leading venture capital firm, not just in our space, but across AI, across machine learning, across many different kinds of digital startups. Seriously cool. The A16Z State of Crypto Report and the podcast, if you just search for it in your favorite player, has their name. Oh, I'd love to get one of their analysts on the show.
Dude, I learned something really interesting about stablecoin volumes today, actually, like just a few hours ago, which is that the combined volume of Tether and USDC is barely, like globally, is barely larger than the volume of the Korean won stablecoin, like just in Korea.
Wow.
That is how crazed Korean culture is around crypto. And I saw that and I was like, dude, when we have Luca Netz on the show from Pudgy Penguins, the CEO, we need to be like, bro, who do you know that's a streamer who speaks English and Korean? Because we need Rise Up in Korea. Because that place is going bonkers for crypto.
I'm gonna need that. Can we get somebody, one of our Korean speaking friends, to translate Rise Up into Korean so I can put it on the soundboard and we can maybe have like a Rise Up Korea sound?
Well, we'll talk to Luca. They partnered with Triple S, which is like the 7th or 6th largest K-pop group. So maybe we just make Luca our best friends, and then we're like, hey man, let's get K-pop to make a Rise Up jingle. We'll sell however many Pudgy Penguins you need, man, to get this done.
And Luca, if you don't know, is coming on the show next week for After Dark, October 29th. Luca, CEO, owner of Pudgy Penguins. Will has been doing all the research. I read I'm going to call it a brief today.
Because it's not just notes. It's like 8 pages.
Will went to graduate school on every appearance Luca has ever done to really make this a fantastic experience for him. So,
I know his entire life.
Do you want to drop like 1 or 2 fun tidbits or facts or things that made you really excited? You were already excited to have him on the show, but like, what are you looking forward to most?
I probably watched over 10 hours of Luca Netz interviews online. It was probably over 10 hours, like definitely, like over the span of 2 months, basically. That was it. And he loves building Pudgy Penguins, but his passion is around building a business and building company culture and building a go-to-market strategy and kind of just like dominating something and building something he owns. Like that's his passion. I'm really interested in talking to him about company leadership. I'm really interested to talk to him about startup culture and how to create a company that succeeds. Because right now, like Pudgy Penguins is the fastest growing IP in the world. That's crazy. That's freaking nuts. It's just below SpongeBob and it's larger than all of the individual entities of Disney. If you combine all of Disney is #1 in the world, but you have like Disney Marvel, Disney Star Wars, Disney, there's like 12 different things at Disney, but like it's nuts. So like this is a guy who had a previous business before, took a business from 0 to $100 million of revenue, and then got into the crypto space and is building this IP. So it's like, I want to pick his brain around entrepreneurship
Yeah.
and then tie that into, of course, what's happening in crypto so that everyone here can get your questions answered about what's new with Pudgy Penguins, like what's the business strategy, all that kind of stuff. But the things I'm really interested in are is picking his brain as an entrepreneur and a CEO.
Yeah, man, that's a great point. He's right there doing it. And he does have a lot of really brilliant thoughts. So we can't wait to have him, and we hope you'll join us. The quick question for you, since we may not talk about it a ton with Luca, is Steckler wants to know. I've got some dumb meme money set aside. Pengu at a good entry price. I mean, heck, I bought some Solnick, but mainly to see Ski's beard. Okay, Pengu, Will, at a good entry price. I've got the 8-ball, and I want to hear what you think.
I mean, I think Pengu is in a good dollar cost average point. I don't know if Pengu is at a good bottom indicator, because nothing is giving a bottom indicator right now, and Pengu is potentially about to crash through some support. What does that say?
All says buy.
Oh, the 8-ball says buy.
Oh, clearly not financial advice, but fortune tellers.
But Pengu is in a bearish setup for sure right now. It's in this massive bull flag here, and Evan, if you can share my screen. But it looks like it's about to break out of this bull flag bearishly. Unfortunately, it looks like this pattern's going to break, because right now we have price currently sitting at basically 2 cents. And if it breaks out of this support, I mean, there's an obvious place to catch us, which is where this massive area of consolidation was forming back on April of this year through July, which is a range of 1.7 cents to 1.3 cents. And if current price right now does not hold, we're absolutely falling out of this bearishly, and you can look to start to really scoop up some Pengu between 1.7 cents to 1.2, 1.3 cents, 1.3 cents really. And so that's what I'd be looking for. But the reason why I say it's in a good spot to dollar cost average into, no matter what, is meme coins, when they start moving, move fast. And Pengu is the hottest meme coin in the space. But we have the weekly chart stochastic RSI in oversold territory. To me, if you are in a macro bullish environment, which we still are in, that is a great time to be buying once a week. A little bit here, a little bit there.
It's the perfect time to buy.
It's the perfect time to buy. So yeah, that would be my opinion on Pengu. There is no confirmed bottom at all. Dollar cost average, though, would be solid. Having buys at 1.7 to 1.3 cents would be what I would be doing.
1.7 to 1.3.
Intent.
Beautiful. And shout out to Bearded, who says, Rise Up Morning Show in Korean is... And I don't know
who those characters are.
I don't know, but I have deep respect for anybody who, is speaking any kind of language in the culture and heritage that comes behind it. I won't even try to butcher it. I would just like for somebody in our Korean friendship community to let us know how to say that, and then to say it for us so we can learn and say hi to our Korean friends.
Ooh, I have a fun linguistic fun fact for you.
Okay.
And I know this because I have several friends in Boston who are Turkish. And Turkish, Mongolian, and Korean are all within the same linguistics family.
What?
Which is interesting, right? Korean, Mongolian, Turkish.
How interesting.
Well, you have the steppes, right? So if you have China and then you have Mongolia and the steppes, it's just flat grassland for forever, which is Mongolia and a lot of Russia and parts of China, that whole area. It's a sea of grass. And the steppes people, obviously had the Mongolians, but the Turks were a steppe people also. They are not from Turkey. They are not from Anatolia, that area. They moved in as the warrior mercenary class for the locals, and then said, oh, we should just rule this. And then that is how they became the ruling people and majority people in Turkey. And then also Koreans too, migratory patterns from the steppes down into Korea. And then you also have similar linguistics between Korea and the native population, the original native population of Japan, because current Japanese people weren't the native population. I forget the names of them. You still have groups of them in northern Japan, but they are also linguistically related to Korea, Mongolia, and Turkey. Anyway, welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. We talk about cryptocurrency and sometimes linguistics fun facts because I think it's cool.
I'm going to ding, and I'm also going to go up because you called it the morning show, and tonight we're after dark, baby. A mistake I have made many times.
Rise up media. Rise up media.
Whoever you are, wherever you listen, we're glad you're here. And especially if you're in Mongolia. When I was doing Crypto Radio Network, this was 2021. It was a terrestrial radio show that streamed online also with some of my good friends, Sal DeGuardia and Matt Mazzaferro. And we were big in Mongolia. We were like the number 8 tech podcast in Mongolia. And we had, we had fans, man. It was cool.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Mongolia. Then shout out to Will.
You know what? Ding for Mongolia.
Ding for Mongolia. That sounds like a war film that Tom Hanks would be in.
It sounds like there's like a Genghis Khan character off screen just with like a giant sword being like, you give us a ding right now.
Or like if my name was Paul Ding and I was running for president in Mongolia. Ding for Mongolia.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Somebody get me back on this. If you have a crypto question, if there's something we can help you with, or you want a prediction from the 8-Ball or one of us, let us know. I'd say it's about that time, Will, that we are getting ready to maybe ride our cats and cows. What do you think? We'll do a couple more minutes, a few more rounds, and then we'll head off into the sunset.
Yeah, a few more questions, and then we'll take it easy and see y'all in the morning,
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say, Bearded did win a competition where he won an extra Pudgy Penguin. You can see my Pudgy Penguin displays here. If you were watching on the big screen, you can see. If folks on TikTok, see all those Pudgy Penguins down there. There you go. Oh, thank you, phone camera, for automatically lightning. And Bearded won a competition that was just like random, and he just said an IT person tried to take my Pudgy Penguin from my desk, almost had to fight him for it. So yeah, Bearded got one of my Pudgy Penguins, and you better fight for that, man. I want to see blood on that Pudgy Penguin.
Dude, way to go, Bearded.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. By popular request, cats and cows.
Meow moo moo, buckaroos.
Miltos wants to know, Will, have you seen the BTC versus gold chart? And I have not listened to Market Watch yet, but I've got to imagine it's something you've looked at in the last couple of days. Am I right?
I actually haven't looked at it because I keep trying to look it up on TradingView and I can't get it. Hang on a second. I'll pull it up. Give me a second.
And in the meantime, Bearded says, long on beef. Cats and cows, always.
Always long on beef. Oh my God. Did you see that Trump's pissed at the cattle industry for raising prices?
Yeah, I did see that, and I just wasn't read into it, except that he's, having a little beef with the beef industry, it seems like.
Funny. Funny man.
Funny man.
But yeah, it's like prices are going up in beef. My tariffs are supposed to be helping you. Well, that's because you're putting taxes on.
We've got a couple of other questions rolling in, so when Will gets this done, I've got them noted down. And on the way, Fluke asked the question, will there be a Rise Up Halloween special? Though we haven't planned a Halloween episode, I will say that next week we have lots of opportunity for spooky, sensational content. And if you tune in, you will be lucky, I am sure, at some point to see Will, at least in a great costume. But we did costumes before. I'll have to think of something. And Alex, maybe we'll get him to dress up too. We just might have to write that down. If you want to see a Halloween special, we want to know, and we want to know what your suggestions for costumes are. Maybe I'll be the bear market, or
I'll be the bear market.
I don't know. I'll be William Quigley. That'll be my Halloween costume.
That'd be nice.
Okay,
so I'm looking at the BTC XAU, which is the Bitcoin gold chart on the weekly time frame. And basically, if this chart is going up, it means that Bitcoin is outperforming gold. If this chart is going down, it means that gold is outperforming Bitcoin. And ever since the middle of August, gold has been outperforming Bitcoin to the tune of, drumroll, please.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
29%. So what I see right now, if I'm comparing Bitcoin to gold right here, is I'm seeing we have a potential bottom here. We are very oversold while on the 200-week exponential moving average. This should be a sign to us that we would be reading that that Bitcoin is now in a position to start outperforming gold, which would be nice to see. And let me just see if we have any sort of pattern or shape here that makes us feel warm and fuzzy. Ding,
I'm
ding.
seeing a scary monster. with like his hands raised.
Oh yeah, like there's like a muck monster over here, and he's like, "Rah!" And this is his claw.
Yeah, it's like his mouth and those
Chart
are
art. Yeah, and he's got like some angry eyes over here, and he's like, "Rah!" Just like that. He's got sharp teeth like right there, and then here's his hand, and it's coming here, and he's got claws.
He's reaching out to get you.
Yeah, except he's a puddle monster,
I wish I could also draw in your chart because I want to show you what I'm imagining is actually like the two edges are his arms and that there's like an inverse parabola over the top, like that.
Oh, interesting. You're wrong. But
his head.
you're wrong, but that's fine. I'm the chart guy here, so just let me do that. Okay. We gotta have another chart art competition and give away $100 again.
Well, Robot Sticklerish suggested a Halloween contest competition. And at the very least, I want to see people post their pictures in the community. We have a lot of people who are going to dress up and come on, guys, we need to see it.
But anyway, this could very well be the bottom for the Bitcoin gold chart, and then Bitcoin could start outperforming gold. That doesn't necessarily mean Bitcoin has to go up, mind you, but it would certainly make sense when you look at the gold chart to start to have Bitcoin outperform gold here. So yeah, we're seeing a potential bottom indicator. Nothing's confirmed, but definitely strong potential. And if you are a gold bug, this is a good sign to be like, hey, maybe I should start switching on over to Bitcoin, because when you look at gold on the weekly time frame, we have a very, very, very confirmed double top here on the weekly chart. In fact, if you go to the daily time frame, it's a triple top. Very bearish indicator. And we're overbought on the weekly charts, RSI, the monthly chart, the 3-month chart, the daily, the weekly. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm personally expecting a fall in gold over several weeks to the tune of about 15% or so to about 3,500. That's where support will initially start to be found for gold. That's what I'm expecting.
Interesting. I don't buy gold, and I have thought about it. I just, like to be on easy mode. By which I mean not trying to do too many things at once, like moving the phone while I'm screen sharing and also hosting a radio show. But we do the best we can. So if you've got the questions, we've got the answers. We've got time for a couple more. Will, we had one about Morpho. Do you still hold Morpho?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I still have some.
And what's like the situation looking like? I sold Morpho. I haven't looked at it. I wanted to make things simpler. I was up. It was a natural let go for me.
So what are we looking at for Morpho? Honestly, I haven't looked at the chart in a while because right now, my position's down, but I still like Morpho. I also still have Syrup, and that's down, but I still believe in Syrup. Particularly because Syrup, every quarter, they take revenue and they go into a buyback and burn program with their token. So that's nice because Maple Finance is the largest lending protocol in the world right now, and they make a good amount of revenue. So that buyback and burn is actually pretty useful over the long run.
That token has been up for a minute only, and the yields have been up for a minute only too. It's been
on Maple Finance's chart, which is also Syrup. It's been oversold on the weekly chart for a long time. So guess what's included in my daily dollar cost average? A little bit of Syrup. A little bit of Syrup, a little bit of Solana, a little bit of Ethereum, a little bit of Bitcoin every single day. And that's what I do. So I still like Morpho. My Morpho bag has enough invested into it, so I'm not really looking to put more into it. But I think that Morpho and Maple are the two lending solutions that get adoption amongst large institutional players. Coinbase is using Morpho. I think you see Maple Finance start getting used by other organizations too, and you start having some nice headlines and you have some pumps and you can make some money.
I like this comment from Miltos, who, going back to what you were looking at on gold, said, I personally expect everyone that sold gold will buy digital gold, aka BTC. If there was some kind of gold crisis or like a gold bubble, I really do expect that would be the natural place. I feel like if something undermined people's confidence in gold, not that it would take a lot, but if gold loses, the number one asset that stands to gain, to me, it could be dollars, but it seems like Bitcoin would be a strong candidate.
Can the U.S. government just hurry up and sell their gold and then take that money and put it all into Bitcoin?
I mean, could you though, please?
Yeah!
We also had a comment here asking about, it was Scrimmy who said, regarding Halloween costumes, Ghostbusters all day. Okay.
It's classic. It's great.
We could do the Ghostbusters. That could be really great. And I don't know about you, Will, but I am glad to take one more question apiece, and I've got mine picked. If you've got one you want to get
picked, I'll have to take a look.
And then I will say to everybody who still has a question, don't go anywhere yet. The show's not over, but this is your chance to jump into the community. If you're not there, it's like a public forum, a great meeting place. It's not like a hassle. It's not overwhelming. I don't think like a lot of Discord or Telegram things. It's a really good place to post your question, to get to know somebody, and just like, hang out, be casual, and learn, get connected with all the different resources we offer. And that's where my question is going to come from tonight. There it is. This is in the public forum of the Rise Up community. It comes from John. Hello, John. Hope your candles are green. Who says, I'm 62 and I'm looking to get into crypto. I've got a Coinbase account, Web3 Trust wallet, and a Decent wallet. Linked my Trust wallet to Web3, but struggling to link my Decent. Click on 24-word phrase, just says, continue with wallet. John, and anybody out there that this is familiar to, I want to tell you that I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but that is a scam. Anytime you see Web3 Trust wallet, back up your wallet to Web3, it's a very common comment that's starting to emerge on social media. And what it looks like is somebody is impersonating a creator you trust. It's very easy to do. And approaching you or making videos with text on it that says your cold wallet is not safe. We've had a lot of people comment on videos like this. I was talking to our good friend Joe about it. And it is a prevalent scam because it looks real. It looks like my video. It is my video, but somebody else has pasted text over it, kind of thing. They tell you got to back up your wallet to Web3, or maybe they DM you and they get you to a website that asks you for your seed phrase. It tells you your wallet isn't safe. Your wallet is safe. And this is how they get your seed phrase, they being a scammer. And when they get your seed phrase, the bad news is that they've got access to your crypto. It's usually gone. So the good news is that when you know what to look for, you're never going to fall for these scams. And if you're new to crypto, before you buy crypto, you really should learn how to use it. You should learn some stuff to look out for. And I can't give a better commercial for a group of crypto users, a community like ours, than that. We have lots of people who have experienced scams like this, who see them as they come, who can help you. If you need a second opinion, it's totally free. It's a great place. The only thing missing is you. So John, send us a follow-up. Let us know you're okay. Let us know if you sent them money, and we've got the follow-up steps for you to report the scam and then to help you make yourself whole in the community. I look forward to seeing you there. Well, have you got a question from the comments? Hopefully a cheerier one than mine.
I didn't, because I got distracted by Tucker Carlson saying that he won't invest in Bitcoin because he believes the CIA created it.
Oh, Tucker.
Tucker.
Is it too late to get in?
Yes, now is the time.
But I did scroll through. I didn't see any other questions that really.
Okay, then I'll take one more, which is brief, which is from Joe. Mama Joe. We know her, we love her, and she was telling me she was listening to Raoul Paul while she was walking home from the tire shop, getting her exercise and some mental gymnastics into. Raoul Paul does this drinks with Raoul Paul show where he just progressively gets a little toasty and gives his take on the markets, and it's actually really good viewing. It's very enjoyable. But she asked, what's the significance of the November 22nd date? Have you seen this one in the comments and social media, Will?
I did see that get mentioned, and I have no idea why November 22nd is being run around. November 1st, I get, because that's when the 100% tariffs on China are supposed to go into effect.
Yes, November 22nd is a significant date on social media because it is the deadline for ISO 20022 compliance.
Oh, fuck off.
I
know people are genuinely interested in it.
Well, it's something people are genuinely interested in, but it's not worth your attention. It's a nothing burger. This is a long time development that has been overhyped mostly by people who are trying to sell you something or outright trying to scam you. And often people who are misinformed latch on to it. It is a significant event. It is important that the banking and money
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. But it is low value information that is most commonly used to prey on people that some sort of systemic change is going to happen that's going to affect your money. They're going to say November 22nd, there's a flip of the switch. So back up your wallet to Web3, use the decentralized trust, whatever. That is the most common use case for it. Or somebody talking about it in like a conspiratorial way. But there's no good verified evidence that this is going to be any date of significance for crypto. You might get a pump on some of those ISO tokens. Wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think it's worth paying attention to because it makes you vulnerable to misinformation, is what I would say. You can skip it.
Yeah, and my reaction to it is just that ever since 2023, we've seen this ISO 20022 narrative in the crypto space. And for some reason, people are like, the banks and the financial institutions are going to have to use these cryptocurrencies that have ISO 20022 compliancy. Guess what? So too do the banks. Like this isn't a thing that drives crypto adoption. This is just a narrative that people spun up and enough people talked about to the point where it became a thing folks talked about without understanding it. Again, it's the result of all of us hearing a thing and us getting lazy, not asking the follow-up question. We hear, oh, these cryptos like your Dara, your XRP, your Algorand, your I don't know, the other ISO 20022, your quants are all going to get amazing adoption amongst banks and financial institutions because they have to use these because they're ISO 20022 compliant, and they don't. Hey, guess what? People are like, hey, Ethereum's going to suck because it's also not ISO 20022 compliant. Our devs in the community were like, hey, you could spend 7 minutes adding code to Ethereum to make it ISO 20022 compliant.
Yeah, shout out to Technically Web3, Adriano. I think I saw him in the comments earlier. He made a video about it and just did the process. And it was like, it was beautiful. And it was a helpful piece of like good information.
Yep. Oh, and I just saw the comment by Bearded on YouTube. It was making jest about people making a lot of comments about XRP and ICP. But the ICP comment reminded me that I did see a few like ICP accounts actually share the news that when AWS went down, guess what? ICP's internet didn't. And Alex made a great point of being like, why isn't ICP like ringing the bell to be like, hey, our decentralized internet is still up and working despite AWS going down and basically the entire internet going, not the entire internet, but huge swaths of the internet going down. Like more people should have been talking about that. That was a really good opportunity for ICP to capitalize. And I feel like they didn't because the Dfinity group doesn't really care.
Yeah, never waste a good crisis, but sometimes
they certainly did.
Crisis.
But sometimes you do waste it, and because you're distracted by your infinite money glitch.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Ladies and gentlemen, monsters and machines, it is about that time that we will ride our cats and cows into the sunrise. But first, we need your final thoughts. If you've got a question like Susan on Facebook, or maybe you're listening to the podcast in the future, you know what I'm going to say. We hope your candles are green because it has been a red moment for some people, but it's never a red moment if you jump into the community.rumshq.com. You can find the link to this episode, the recording of it on your favorite platform, all of our shows. We're going to be back tomorrow with Giancarlo, aka Rudo, our very good friend from Polygon, to share an exciting announcement. I don't know what it could be, Will.
I don't know what it could be either, but there's a lot of purple coming down the line for Rise Up Morning Show. Maybe some purple physical items that could maybe be used to store things and maybe be used for payments we talked about earlier. Maybe there's some other purple branded companies that we may have had relationships with in the past and maybe have relationships again in the very near future, like tomorrow. And, purple lights. Look at these. Look at these lights. Hey, look at it. It's great. Oh, it's purple.
We do love the purple. Ooh. So, Will, let your final thought percolate. And here's what I am going to do for you. I'm going to give you a little drum roll, and I'm going to tell you how the points stand. User 4123456712338 has 1 point. Layer 2s have 1 point. And Ding, I'm not sure what I meant by Ding, but Ding has got a point. Arculus has got a point. Bill Murray has got a point.
Oh, good for
Arculus
Bill.
has got a point. TW3 has a point. And you know what I think actually will? I got to tell you, Korea has a point. You know who doesn't have any points tonight? I think I have one Guam for spilling
I
the
don't think
water.
you gave yourself any points, did you?
I didn't give myself any points, and I gave myself one Guam. So I think I've lost tonight. And that means
you get a great explanation around Web3 scams. So we're gonna go 2. We're gonna go 2 points. You're on the
okay, I'm on the board. I'm tied with Bill Murray and everybody for 1, and that means in second place. Oh, you know actually who else had 1 Guam?
Racism?
No, racism was free tonight. It was Alex.
It's just stupid. I will absolutely die on this hill.
Sorry, Al. We love you. We'll see you again soon, which means in second place. It's William Watson with 5 beautiful points.
Nope.
Put yourself back for it. And our winner tonight, she's done it again with 5 points and no Guams is Christina.
I am a big fan
So
of
congratulations, Christina. Somehow, without even being here, you've won. You know, Christina's done really well in the show. Violet has done really well in the show. I need to give Violet some more points. I haven't been dinging Violet. And of course, the lady of my love, Kimberly, she's getting 10 points after the fact because, baby, you're number 1 in my heart. Will, have you got?
It's 11 points.
Oh!
I think it's 11 points. 23 points for Violet.
We could do this all night. But we must go. So give me a final thought. I will let Violet win for now.
I just heard Violet say something from the other room, but I couldn't tell what it was.
I tell her she's
points, baby. She goes, woo!
Oh my gosh, I love it. Have you got one? A last prediction, a good joke, word of wisdom, anything to say before we walk away?
What do I have to say? Well, the only thing that I feel like I have to say right now is as we step on board this locomotive that's leaving the station tonight, is that no matter if the markets are red or if they are green, then we, the Riders of the Organization, will be here for you. And yes, you as well. Don't worry, we got your backs for all of your curious questions about cryptocurrency.
Correct. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. There's nothing I love better than a good surprise radio transition. So shout out, brother. That was killer.
The best part is he has no clue we can't hear him. I guess I had this too loud. Interesting.
You talking about me?
No. Apparently they couldn't hear me on TikTok. All they could hear was. Anyway, ding for that. Like, that's just a prepared sound, like in the soundboard. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. I'm going to need that sound. And Alex is going to need a ban button. But until he gets one, we are keeping it live, baby. To all our friends in podcast land, the only thing louder than that sound effect was Will's facial expression. He had the funk. My final thought is going to be to say a couple of thank yous to all the guests we've had recently, to all the friends who've tuned in. I want to give a special shout out to our friend Josh, Investing Y'all, who hooked us up with Hamblin Crypto Tracing. I want to shout out Erica Perkin, who was on the show and was very kind to follow up with some helpful resources to try and get us to be of service in the court of justice. Maybe we can get on track to be expert witnesses soon. I don't know how to sell this thing, but we're ready for it. And I want to give a special thank you to Octant. Super cool. Epoch 9 has just finished, and they have given out over $1 million with contributions and matched fundings this epoch to over 30 creators on like your favorite blockchains, on your favorite socials, talking about Ethereum. So thank you to our friends at Octant. Congratulations to everybody at Epoch 9. And here's to telling a better story. It's the most important thing anybody in crypto can do. Like our friend Tori Stories says, a better world is possible, and it takes a great story to inspire people to see it. So thank them, thank our partners, our soon-to-be partners, and most of all, you for being the very best part of what we do. Everybody, until next time, Stay safe. Be well, my friends. Rise up.